Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Let me go ahead and just introduce myself. My name is Holly Caputo, and I apologize. I'm doing this actually on my phone because for whatever reason, YouTube has changed their settings. And the last time I went live, I did it on my computer, but it's not allowing me to get on there it's not allowing me to get on there on my computer right now. So I'm doing this on my phone. My name is Holly Caputo, and I started in the entertainment industry. I was an actor, singer, dancer for several decades. And then I became a talent agent, and I was an agent for 10 years. And then I retired from that, and I started TheStarMovement, which is a model and talent development company that really I started because I met so many people during my agency career who just weren't ready to work with me yet as an agent. They needed more guidance. And though there's lots of really great teachers out there, I found that some of them weren't giving the basics, meaning about the business, about contracts, releases, unions, those things, basically teaching someone where the finish line is. So that was a lot of the reason why I started the Star Movement. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about how to get an agent and also just how to book that job. Open this up for a Q&A. So if you guys have questions, definitely feel free to ask me. But everyone always thinks, okay, I want to work in the entertainment industry. I just get an agent. Well, does a doctor just become a doctor, or do they go to school? Do they, learn about their craft? Do they learn how to use all those instruments? It's very much the same thing in our business, but yet, many people starting out don't realize that this is a business. And that's the first thing that you need to know, the business. So you've got to be business minded, not just love acting or love modeling or love singing or love dancing. If you're wanting to work with an agent, you've got to know how to professionally conduct yourself. And also you've also got to be honest with yourself and know when is the right time to look for an agent. That's a big part of it as well. I've had lots of people come to me who, oh, I've been working in the industry and I've taken class from this person, that person, but I can't get an agent. And that seems to be, a lot of what I hear. And, there's probably a good reason for it. Just, within the last 6 months, I had someone who they sent me all their stuff and they're like, well, I can't understand why I can't get an agent. I have a headshot. Sure, the headshots were great, but their resume wasn't so great and it was a bit messy. Not only that, but it lacked experience. And on top of that, they then sent me their demo reel, which is really kind of what pushed everything over the edge. And it just showed that their training was just not up to par yet. In this business, the people in this business have trained their entire life, or they've spent a very, good amount of time, a real good amount of time working on their craft, doing their training, doing their classes. And, some people think, okay, well, I take a class or two and then I'm ready for an agent. No, you have to be able to take direction just like any other job. You've got to be able to show that you can do the skills. When it comes to acting, it's not just about reading something and reading it back. When it comes to modeling, it's not about, you standing there smiling. A singer, you've got to really have control over your voice and be fully developed. The same thing for a dancer. Where's your skill set? How long have you been training? Can you pick up choreography from another choreographer? All of these things have got to come together in order for you to really, you know, be ready for an agent. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. How do I get an agent? Well, let's start with basics. What is it that you want to do? Firstly, do you know the business? And that's really essential. Um, I meet lots of people who, hi, I'm a female, I'm 18, I'm 5'2", I've got a great personality, but I want to be a model. Well, that's great, but do you know anything about modeling? It's not just stand there and about you, it's about actually advertising a product. Um, and, you know, when it comes to advertising a product, there are specifics out there, for modeling. So fashion starts at 5'9". Did you know that? Did you do any homework on it? Did you look at agencies and look at the pictures on those agencies' websites? Did you look at the measurements on there? Did you look at what category they have? How they have their models, whether they're swim models or they're fashion models or they're lifestyle models or their catalog models. You have to know the industry. You've got to know the business. An agent is there to help people get a job, but they can't help someone get a job who's not ready for that job. Not only that, but why would an agent take on someone who can't show the skills or doesn't really know, you know, what the job pertains? So that's why training and getting to know your craft, the business is essential. So that's the first thing. You've got to know where the finish line is. What is the street you're driving down? Where is the end? And that's really important for other reasons as well. Not just for the getting with an agent, but it's also to make sure that you stay on task, meaning you do the things that are necessary for you. There's a lot of talk that goes on in this industry. Um, and not everyone is qualified to give that talk. Unfortunately, it's just, everyone feels important by saying, hey, let me give you this advice. But unless you've actually done it, you really probably shouldn't be giving the advice, and that's all I can say about it. But there's a lot of talk in this industry. I'm here giving you advice because I was an agent for 10 years. I've worked in development for another 10 years. I spent 20 years before that, on your side as an actor, as a singer, as a dancer, pounding the pavement, trying to get those jobs, hustling, studying my craft, making sure my headshots were up to par, making sure my resume was right, all of those things. So those things are all really, really necessary. Um, let's talk about materials too. Okay. So it's not just your skill set, but your skill set is really, really important. You have to, as a dancer, you've got to be able to pick up that choreography and give somebody back what they're looking for, whether it's for live performance or music video or film or TV. Um, the same thing as an actor, the same thing as a model. You've got to be able to do your job. So you've got to make sure that you're putting in, the right things to, um, make sure that you're up to par with what you're doing and that you're going to be on task. Okay. Um, so that's the first part of it. But let's talk about then once you feel like your skill set is where it needs to be. Let's talk about materials. Okay, because that's something that's really important as well. Resumes. Is your resume written properly? So this is a huge pet peeve of mine. And just FYI, I do on our website, thestarmovement.com/classes. It might be TSM/classes, TSM-classes. But if you go to thestarmovement.com and click on classes, on our classes, you will find about the business. And I've done two separate ones. One where I break down about contracts, releases, unions, right to work states. The second one is about materials. Okay, so and even stage names. Because you've got to know, what is right for you. And not only that, but everything in our business is very specific. So, headshots are very specific. A resume needs to be written a certain way. For modeling, those pictures are very specific. I know there's a lot of sites out there that, give you your test for free, test for time, those test shoots and stuff like that. But the thing is, are those pictures, are they, up to par? As for, what an agency is looking for, do they fit who you are and, what direction you should be going in as a model in the industry? What type of model are you? Are you fashion? Are you lifestyle? Are you swim? Are you catalog? You've got to know that who you are and what you fit. If you're not 5'9", no, you're not going to be doing runway at 5'6". So these are things that you really, really need to know. So having the right materials that showcase who you are, is the other thing. Because if you're sending an agent the wrong thing, yeah, they may not ever give you a second look. So by the time you do get things right, and then you go ahead and submit yourself again to an agency, they may be like, oh, yeah, I've already seen this person. They may never give you a second look. Okay. So this is why also you do not want to, go ahead and try to seek out an agent before you're really ready to do so. So having the right materials, proper headshots, commercial headshot, film, TV headshot, modeling. Do you need just simple digitals, which are those raw pictures of yourself with your measurements? If you're modeling, you don't know what a digital is, look it up. Go take one of my classes, take one of my private sessions. Let's talk about this. Um, you know, you've got to know these things. So those are really, really important before you submit to an agent. And then the other thing is, how are you submitting to an agent? If you contact, via email an agent and say, hey, call me or email me, I want in your agency. Do you really think you're going to get an email or a phone call from them? Unless, it's something scandalous that they're looking for you to buy something from them, which by the way, this is why you need to, if you're not familiar with it, watch my class on about the business because agents are not allowed to sell anything. They get paid when you book a job. But that might be the only time you get a call back or an email from them. Most agents, it's very specific how you submit to them. Whether it's on their site, you're sending a headshot, you're sending your resume, your email, your phone number, whatever, or a demo reel. But if you're calling someone and saying, and leaving a message, please call me, they're not going to call you. An agent's life, their life is today for tomorrow, meaning they find out about auditions for their clients and then they have to get them to them today because their talent auditions are tomorrow. So it's very, very little downtime that they have to execute and get everything out and make sure everyone's good to go. So they don't have time to, email you back and say, hi, please do the right things for yourself. Okay, that's part of the education of this business. I've seen people leave a bad review on an agency website because someone didn't get back with them. Well, you should instead do your homework and find out the right ways about going about the industry. Because people are not, just going to get back with them. I have people all the time who contact me for representation. On my website, it doesn't say that I'm an agent. It says that I'm a former agent. It also shows that I do photo shoots, that I do classes. So obviously I could be an agent because I'm offering services. So that's what I mean about knowing the business. If you're contacting someone like myself and you think I'm an agent, and you've looked at my website, then you need, a bit more training to know more about the industry. You need to know the business better because what's going to happen is someone's going to say, yes, you're 5'3", I can make you a model, but you need to buy this and this and this. And you know what? Then we're going to make you a star. Can I tell you how many times I've seen that? And can I tell you how many times someone has fallen for it and they've paid the money for it? That's a lot of the reason why I started the Star Movement for that reason, because I wanted people to have the right information. But if you want to work with an agent, you've got to be truly ready to work with an agent. So skill level, And the thing is, ask who you're working with, who you're training with. Are you really ready for an agent? And then the other thing is, who are you training with? What's their background? You want to be working with people who really, like I said, have done it, have been there, have done that, so that you can be the best you that you can be. Um, and then, go and research these agencies, and look at their social media. Are they booking jobs? Obviously we're just coming out of, a strike. So some of the film and TV hasn't been going on, just commercial work. But, look and see, who's booking a job. Are they active? Because that's an agency that you want to work with. But take a look if you can on their website at their talent. Does your headshot look up to par with other people's headshots in that agency? You know, check out a professional resume. Does yours look like how it's supposed to? So that's the first thing. If you're an actor, do you have a demo reel? Do you know what a proper demo reel is? Again, I watched someone who's, oh, I have a demo reel. No, you put some monologues on tape that were really bad and called it a demo reel. Your slate was rough. It wasn't how it was supposed to be. There's no thank yous at the end of it. That's not a demo reel. So, you've got to really know what these things are before you go and submit it to an agent, so that an agent doesn't, roll their eyes when they get something like this. Instead, they take you serious because you want to be taken serious, not, you're nowhere near ready to work with me type of thing. So that's a big thing of getting with an agent. When you are ready, like I said, go to their website, see how do they want you to submit. Follow their instructions. If they are interested, they will give you a call. Look and see, do they do open calls? That's one of the best ways of getting with an agent during their open calls. The fashion agencies in the modeling world, they do open calls. The dance agencies, they do open calls. So see about those. That's one of the best ways of getting in front of an agent. And maybe you don't have a ton of work, but your skill set is really great. See what you can do to build up your resume, whether it's, for film and TV, whether it's working on some independent, film work. That way, you can build up your resume. The same thing with, commercial work. There are production companies out there that's what they do. They do extra work. So, you could get on a production as an extra. Technically, extra stuff isn't supposed to go on a resume, but when you're starting out, you know what? You need to put something on your resume. So those jobs that you've done as an extra. And as far as like, who the character was in the middle, well, put, who you were, what you were doing. You don't necessarily need to write extra. If you were the milkman, put it as the milkman. But get something on your resume so that it shows that, hey, I've been on set, I know terminology, I know what I'm doing. That way an agency sees that and says, okay, they have some experience. Maybe it's not the hugest, you know, thing that they've done, but we can see that they at least, know what back to one means, and certain terminology. So that's really, really important. All right. So once you're with an agent, it doesn't mean that your job is done. It means that it's just starting. Um, I can't tell you how many people that I have worked with who have gotten with an agent, um, to then later get dropped by that agent, not long after. And it's because they didn't keep up what they needed to. They didn't have current pictures. They, didn't keep up with their classes, so they weren't booking jobs, and why is an agent gonna hold on to you if you aren't doing the right things for yourself? You know, pictures. Pictures are only good for, maybe it depend for kids, every year they need new pictures. For adults, maybe a year and a half. Because you change. You look different. Your hair is different, which means you need a new headshot. Every time you make a change to yourself, you change the color of your hair. Guess what? You need new pictures to represent yourself. You need to look like your pictures, which means that you've got to keep that stuff up to date. So that's the first thing, is making sure your materials stay up to par with your agent, making sure your communication is good with an agent. I know so many people who have been dropped because of their bad communication. Make sure you're checking your email, make sure you're checking your voicemail, make sure your mailbox is empty and your voicemail, make sure you're checking your text messages and you get back with people. For an agent, again, their life is today for tomorrow. So they have a small window to get back with you. Um, to tell you whether or not, hey, yes, they want to see you for an audition. And if you don't get with them within that 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long, they're going to move on to the next person, because you know what, they only have today to get this casting booked to send to a casting director for the next day. So they're not going to be stalking you all day long saying, please answer your devices so that we can get you the information and get you to an audition. That's too much work for someone. Agents want people who are easy to work with, who are good communicators, who get back with them in a timely manner. We know people get busy. You have jobs. We get that. Just because you're with an agent, we know you maybe not full time with that, so you have other jobs. We got that. Most people do. Just um, it's just part of being professional in this industry and what we consider professionalism. Okay, so that's a big part of it. Um, the other thing is just keeping up with your craft. Once you're with an agent doesn't mean that you stop classes. It means that you need to keep going. You need to compete against your lookalikes, your twins out there, your triplets out there, your quadruplets out there. Because you're gonna meet them in your auditions with the same look, and it really comes down to your skill set. Is your skill set, up to par? Are their skill sets better than yours? So that's part of it. And a big reason for um why agencies are so picky as to who they work with. So just that FYI, in that. Um, it's really important that, you do the work. It's really important that, you keep your skill set up so you can book that job. So let's talk about, booking a job. How do you book a job? One, you've got to be as prepared as possible. If you are an actor, you need to walk in, you've got to know exactly what you're doing, which means if there's copy or sides, they need to be memorized and really ready to go. If it's a commercial, know the product, and also make sure for anything acting wise, your pronunciation is on par, that you know the name of the product and that you're saying it correctly, or names or words. Make sure that everything is being done correctly. If you have questions on something, ask right away. For modeling, make sure that you're dressed how you need to be, make sure skin's looking great, make sure fingernails, like everything is up to par. Make sure that nail polish isn't peeling off your nails, and that's for anybody. Make sure that you look the part. Um, if you're going to a casting, if you haven't been practicing your runway walk, if you haven't been working on your movement, it's been a little bit since you've been in front of the camera, then you're rusty. These are things again that you've got to continue to do. You've got to keep up on your craft. The same thing for singers, the same thing for dancers. Okay. Really, really important. You know, Otherwise you're going to really struggle in booking that job. You know, um, you know, Try to know exactly what you're about to walk into. Obviously in auditions, anything goes, but you need to be as prepared as possible. Are you dressed appropriately? Did you bring the right materials with you? Are you really ready for this audition? Do you know what the audition is about? So these are all things that are really, really helpful in helping you move forward. Um, Things that might stop you from booking a job would be, you're not getting called even for the audition, because maybe your materials aren't right. So maybe your pictures, you need updated pictures. Um, maybe if you're an actor, um, or a dancer, maybe your demo needs to be updated. So things like that. You've got to always, you know, stay on top of these things, and sometimes things do need an update. Maybe you were booking for a while and then all of a sudden it stopped. And that happens. I always say it's like surfing a wave. Eventually the wave, comes down and crashes, and you've got to get back up again. Which means, reinventing yourself. And you can do that by doing a refresher, taking a class so that you feel new and on top of your game, new pictures, all of that. Just those little things help to reinvent someone. So if you are struggling, in booking a job, then yeah, those are things that you need to consider. But if you're starting out in the industry, you've got to figure out how do you compete with people who've been doing this for a very long time, which means that you've got to up your game. You've got to show that you can book the job, meaning that your skill set is ready, that you're really there, which also means good communication with your agent, to make sure that they feel like you are really there, or if there's something that they feel like, you need to be doing to better yourself as to why you're not booking a job. Again, they get paid when you book a job and you get paid. So, it's in their best interest for you to book that job. Um, which means that you've got to be doing all the right things for yourself to make sure that you are booking that job and putting yourself out there as much as possible. When you're with an agent, again, it's not just let me sit back and relax and cruise that, they're going to do all the work. No, this is about you. It's your career. You have to better yourself. They're just marketing you, but they can't market someone who's not really ready to be there. So, that's basically it. If you have questions about the industry, definitely let me know. Again, I've got, on-demand classes um on our website, which I'm going to put in there. Um Let's see, how do I do this? All right, well, I will put our website anyways in the description so that you have it. Because I see this is again different, and I'm still trying to figure out how to um how to work this new YouTube live. But thank you for, watching. If you have questions about you, yourself, your path, your technique, your materials, just anything about the industry, definitely, reach out to me, info@thestarmovement.com. I will email you back. Make sure to check your spam though after you contact me, because sometimes it does end up in spam. Um, but I'd love to hear from you. And, that's why I started the Star Movement, so that I could help people to be their best selves. So, it was great chatting with you. And I will do this again. I know it's been a minute since I've done this. But again, let me know if you have any questions. All right. Bye.